What's up everybody, this is Kazungu Duncan from Ero Productions, and today I'm going to show you how to create mockups in Photoshop, and I'm going to show you how to save this and share online. Guys, I guess I'm exaggerating. What is a mockup, you may ask? So a mockup is basically a representation of what you are expecting. Of course, if you've designed, for example, a book cover, you want to see how will it appear after it has been printed. Or you have designed a t-shirt, or you have designed a mug, and you want to see a picture of how this very mug or of how this very t-shirt will look like. Of course, you need to create a mockup for it, which will give you a clear picture of what you expect. So a mockup is basically a representation of a reality. And of course, we shall do that in Photoshop and see how our very thing will happen. Of course, you may decide to do it from scratch, which is good, but for today I am going to show you a free website where you can have access to free mockups, and you will use them in Photoshop, and this will save you time. So you will go on Google and search freepik.com. So once you search freepik.com, and you'll have a variety of them, and of course you can choose from any of them, but then this is just the homepage, and of course we are about to enter a new year, and that's why you see something to do with 2021, and you see Merry Christmas, and of course we expect it in the next 2 weeks, right? So you will come here, and of course you will search for that very mockup. So you'll just type in Photoshop mockups, and of course you will choose from a variety of them, and you will download. Of course it will come in a zipped folder, so you will need to extract it, and then you will get the PSD version of it, and now you'll throw it in Photoshop and start your design. So I have downloaded a number of mockups which we are going to use, maybe 3 or 4 of them. Then we shall call it a day. So let me just open the first one. So I'll come to File, then say Open, and then I will want to locate where I saved it. Of course, I created a different folder, and I created it under Downloads. So I'll come to Downloads, then go down to Mockups, and then I will open the first one. Let me start with this good t-shirt. So I'll just say Open. I'll open the PSD file so that I can be able to, edit it. Now, of course, this is a good design, and thank you, Freepik. I give you all the credits for offering this for free, and I think this is something good. So you can use a mockup either to find what you need to see after you print, or you can use it to learn. So for example, you can just study it. It has several groups. For example, we have edition here. It has a layer here. Let's turn it off. If you turn it off, of course, it affects this part. Of course, it brings in, these curved parts. So if you remove it, it remains just straight, which is not good. But then when you put it, it is curved. And then if you open the t-shirt, now it's the t-shirt itself. So if you remove it, of course, it won't be there. And then we have background. Of course, this is now the background we are expecting. Of course, if you turn it off, it will be white. So you can study a mockup and at least understand what this person did. So we are being told your design here. So of course this one is to change the very t-shirt, maybe the color or something. So they are telling me when you double click on this icon here, because it is a smart object, it should open in a different window. So it's telling me after editing the contents, choose File, then Save to commit the changes. Those changes will be reflected upon return to 430.psd. Of course, they are just telling me what I expect. I'll hit OK. Then I'll come here. You see this is just a t-shirt. If I turn this off, you will see it's now white. Then it's now, is it gray or something? Then if I turn this on, it changes to something like maroon. You see it's, but it is put off. So if you need a maroon one, you just make sure that it is checked. You can also change the color. If you double click here, it will give you room to change that very color. But for this, I don't want to change it. So I'll leave it and I'll put it off because I just want to go with what I've been given. And if you turn this off, of course, it kills those shadows, which is not good. So I'll leave it to be on. So this is if you want to change the t-shirt, but then we don't want to change the t-shirt. So I'll just close this and say no. So what I want to change is the very, that where they've written mockup, I need to put in my own. So I'll come to edit edition. So I'll open this group and double click on this icon for a smart object. So if I double click here, it will of course now open this and I can now be able to add in my text. So of course this is just a picture and I may want to delete it. So what I'll do, I'll first of all not link it, right? Or I can just delete this because this is just a mask. So I'll delete this mask so that I can write my own, and they're telling me delete layer mask, and of course I will say delete. So it will remain to have that color. And then on top of this, I will now write what I want. So I'll hit T on my keyboard to access the text tool and just give it some few moments. Yeah, then I'll click here and I want to write something like let's say Ero. So I just type in Ero and then check this, and then I'll hit V, then Control T. I know you know these shortcuts, so that's why I'm rushing. So I'll enlarge this and take it somewhere like here. I need it to be pretty big, just like that. Yes, I'll hit enter to accept that or return. I'll hold Alt when I'm on this very arrow and just drag it down to make a copy. I'll double click to select, right? So just give it some few time. Yeah, it's selected. Control A to select all. Then I will write productions just like that. Hit Control A to select everything and then reduce this size just like that. No, something like that. Then I will accept that and I will reposition this at this very point just like that. Then I'll also hold Alt and drag outside to make a copy. Then I'll double click, then right there, keep, let me write keep creating, just like that, because that is my slogan, just like that. And I will want to reduce the size of this, so I'll just drag this from the corners and just have something like that. Then I will place it someplace here and hit enter to accept. Then I want to go with white because white matches better with this. So I can select both of them. Just hold shift, then select them. Then come to character. And in character, just give it some few moments. Then I'll click on color and change this to white. Just like that. I will collapse this and I have that. So what were we told? After you are through with what you're doing, maybe I should take this a little bit down, just like that. That's fine. So after you are done, you now save it. So you'll come to File and then say Save. The shortcut is Control S. If you want to use the shortcut, of course, just hit Control S. Then you'll give it time to save so that it can also update that smart object. And it's telling me updating smart objects, so that when I'll go back to that very mockup, I'll find it there. So let's see. Look at that. It has truly put it there. Look at that. And it has it has just made something good. You can see it's like, it has put it into perspective. Where there is a curve, it has curved. Where, of course, there is some shadows, it has applied the shadows. And I think I like that. So that is how to do that. And it's pretty simple. You may want to add some other things if you want, but for me, I will go with this. So thank you so much, FreePic, for offering this for free. And we are so grateful. I will open my second. So I'm done with this. Let me just close this. In case you want to add some other things, you are free to do that. But for me, I think I'm good with that. So I will open my another mockup. Let me just say File, then open, and then I'll come to mockups. Let me open this just like that. Of course, this one is maybe you want to put your picture on a wall and you want it to have, you know, everything that, you know, this has. For example, it has shadows, it has reflections, it has lights. So I said you can use this to study your very mockup. So you see, there are good things here. If you, for example, if I put this off, of course, that is lighting or sunlight. So if I put it off, pretty good. If I put it on, it is still nice. So if I also put this on, it is a shadow, and that shadow is in the picture. Of course, if we have the light, we should have, of course, the shadow. Then this is where you now place your picture, and you've been told insert on picture here. Of course, mockups will direct you, so it's nothing hard. So we shall put there. Then if you look at this, this is the frame, right? The frame, and this is the shadow, of course, of that very frame. And of course, this is now the scene. So I'll just double click on this icon here to open this, and I can now put here my photo. So I will go to File, then Open. I want to open one of my photos. So I'll come to Local Disk D and move to PS, then go to JPEG and come to pick my photo. I think it's down here. Let me just find it pretty fast. Where is it? This one. Then I'll say open. Just give it some few moments to open. And if you're visiting this YouTube channel for the first time and you're getting value in this video, please consider subscribing. And not only subscribing, ring that bell so that you, my friend, do not miss any future tips, tricks, or tutorials. So it has opened. I'll hit Ctrl C to copy. Then I'll come to my picture and hit Ctrl V to paste. And I'm expecting it to paste it here. Did it do that? Let me repeat. Come to this, select this, maybe Ctrl J to make a copy, Ctrl C to copy. Then I'll come to here and say Ctrl V to paste. Of course, it has pasted there. Then I will want now to resize it so that it fits in this canvas. So I'll resize it holding Shift, just like that. Ctrl 0 to fit on the canvas. And I may want to reposition this just like that and move it a bit up. Yes, just like that, then enter. Then we can now say Ctrl S to save this so that it updates this on that very wall. So let's go back to this and see. Look at that. It has really put it there. It has the shadows and all that. But then for this photo, it might not fit there because when I look at the direction of light, this sunlight is from my far left. And when I was making my photo, which I made some few months ago, the light was from my top right. So I put my shadow on my left. So that one really is not fine. So how can I change this? Of course, I'll go to my insert here, then select this and hit Ctrl T for free transform. I will right click and then say flip horizontal. So what this does, it changes the sides, right? The left goes to the right and the right goes to the left. That is the easy way I can do. And hit enter to accept that, then hit Ctrl S to save, then come to my design and now look at that. At least it is now into perspective. Of course, the lighting and all that is considered. So Ctrl 0 to fit that and it looks pretty good. If I put off this, it is still good, right? Maybe I would prefer that, but then because there is some, you know, light here, so that means there is some shadow, and maybe we expect to have light here, so I would truly leave that to be there. So that is how to do it. Let me just collapse this because I don't want it. So I'll collapse that and I'll also come to this. I'm through with it, so I don't want it, so I'll just also collapse this and I'll remain with my mockup. So I want to also open another mockup and show you something, maybe the last two, and then we can call it a day. So it's loading a bit slow. Yeah, that's okay. Come to File, right? File, then Open. The shortcut is Ctrl O. So if you hit that, it will of course open that. So I'll scroll to Mockups. and then pick this engraved logo and just say open, then take this and say open. So of course it will open for me this, and it's pretty simple. You can see what they did, like effects. If you put this off, maybe it removes those shadows, so, and it doesn't look okay, so we need those shadows. If I open here, logo effect, so of course this is now embossed. Of course I'm preparing a tutorial on how to achieve embossed designs in Photoshop, and I think I will share it in due time. So this is they have embossed here. Of course it's engraved, right? I think the right term to use is it is engraved on that very wood, and that is exactly what we want. And of course this is the background. Of course this is the color and all that. So I will come to where they are telling me place your design here, and the rule is you double click. So double click on this icon to open where you will place your very design. So I will go to file once more and say sorry, I think I've hit something wrong. Let us see what I'll do. Come to file and then say open. I hit something wrong, so I'll come to this D sorry, then I'll go to logo. Where is logo? This is logo, and then I will pick Ero Productions logo and say open. Then in here I will come to edit and say copy, then I will come to place and say edit, then I will say paste. This is the long way, and just say okay. Then I will want to make it to fit on this canvas and place it just like that. We had opened this, so I don't want it. Let me just close that. So once it has fit that way, hit enter. Then I will make this invisible, and I will hit Ctrl S to update that and maybe see what it has done on our very design. So give it some few moments, it will be done, and it is done. I'll come here and look at that. It has done it, because I mean that is what it could do. So this brings us to something else we should learn. Like, if you want it to be engraved on that very wood, what should you do? Because it has just sensed the outside circle. It has not considered anything that is inside that. So it has only engraved the circle. Then the second thing we are seeing, it is bigger, because I need it to only fit here. Past this line, it won't look fine. So I need it to fit there. And what we now want to do, I'll come to this logo. In first place, I will want to reduce the size of this logo. So I will select this and hit Ctrl T for free transform. Then I'll come to the corners and reduce this, holding Shift and Alt, so that it reduces from the corners and it is proportional. And then I will position this here and hit enter or return to accept. Then the next thing I want to do is a bit challenging, but I hope you will learn. So when this logo is selected, go to select, then come to color range. Then in the color range, I will now come to select and pick the shadows, because I realize, like, the shadows, you already know that they are the dark parts of this very photo, right? Of logo, of course. So this is our logo, and I need to, of course, select the dark parts, and I want to exclude the whites, right? So if we can give an example, like if these dark parts are black and then the whites are whites, of course I need to remain with the blacks and do away with the whites. So what I'll do, I will come here and select shadows, and of course this will show. Of course it has selected part of it, but it hasn't selected all of it. So what I'll do, I will increase the fuzziness just like that. Then I will also increase the range. The range is at which level, or how many pixels of black or dark color will it pick. So as I increase, you see now it is selecting much of the black. So it has selected the logo, it has selected the name, and plus that cloud. And of course I will now play around with the fuzziness. This can be linked to feathering if you already know that. So I will take this to my far right, just like that, and I will position this at that very point. I think I'm satisfied with what I do. So what is in white is selected and what is in black is deselected. And after that, after I am convinced that this is okay, I will now hit OK. So once I hit OK, it will create a selection. Now what I want to do, I want to fill this selection with a solid color. Of course, any color. So I'll come to adjustment layers. Remember that selection is still on. So I'll come to adjustment layers, then choose solid color. Then in the solid color, I can leave it at that blue, or I can change it to something like black or any color. So I'll just pick black and say okay. So of course it has filled that, and I do not need this, so I'll just put it off. So I have my logo and my name. So what I'll do here, I will now Control S to save so that it can update the smart objects, and then we want to see how good it is looking. Let it update just like that. Yes, it is done. Then come here and then we see what it has done. Look at that. This is very, very beautiful. I think I like this. It has engraved it in that very wood. Maybe I should push it a little bit down or reduce the size. So let me see. If I push it somewhere here, let me hold Shift and then say Control S. Let me see if it will create some changes. And let's come to this place. Just let it update. Then come to our PSD. And look at that. It has now at least put it below this line, and it is now looking pretty good. At least someone can see this and say, wow, I think I like this. So that is how you can do with logos and engraving or embossing. That is what we usually do. And as I've said, I will create a tutorial to explain all this. So I will do away with this because, of course, I'm already done with it. I don't want it to fill my space. I will also select this logo, and I guess I don't need it at this moment, so let me close. In case I need it in the next example, I will of course bring it back. So the last example, let me open it. Come to File, then come to Open. Then I will come to Download. Remember, it was in the Downloads. Then I will come to MockUps, and then come to this restaurant, whatever, and pick that. So in case you are making for a restaurant, a hotel or something, then this is a good design you can get on freepik.com. I will include the links in the description. They're telling me something, resolve missing fonts. Of course, maybe it has fonts that I don't have. Of course, I don't have a font like this. So of course, I will not go there because it will pull me down, and I don't want that. So let me just say don't resolve. Then I will use my own fonts, right? So let's analyze what it's here. So it has many things, you know. You may want to have some time and look at them and all that. So let's see, where can we find where to edit this text? So we open this because it's telling us texts. Then we have this text. Of course, it has that because it is not, you know, I don't have those fonts. So what if I double click here, and let me just double click here. The following fonts are missing for text layer. So what should I do? For submission will occur continue. Let me see if it will give me some, you know, yeah, it has given me a different font. So maybe I will want to leave that town or city. We can change that to city so that you see it is, you can change it to city. Then I'll say Control A and use my favorite, which is railway. I like railway, so I'll use railway heavy, and I think I like that. And just hit OK. And you can see it has some texture, and these textures have been added here. You see, we have what do you call it? A mask here, and that is very beautiful. So it says the best nations in Siri. I don't know what nations are. Maybe we should Google and look at that. But then I would want to put there something different so that you can learn on how to edit this. So I'll just say something like the best hotel in the, just like that, in the city. Then I'll say Control All and come here and pick a font. For example, let's say Hansif. If Hansif will work for us, then that is fine. Let's see, Hansif regular or rough. Let me do regular because we already have a texture, and just hit OK. So the best hotel in the city, and order now is still okay. If you need to change it, you can change it, and that will be fine. So maybe let me show you how to change it. So double click here, say OK, and just say order. Now I'll repeat that, I'll leave that just like that. Control A to select everything, and then I will now change this to something like Nexa. Nexa is also a good font. So I'll just pick that and say OK. Look at that. I think I like what I'm seeing. So that is how you can do that, and you can send it to your client, and once that client is happy with that, I'm sure he or she will pay you. In case you want to change the photos, of course you can change them. This is the background, so if you want to change the background, you can put your own, but for me, I like this. I won't change anything. So you can, I've said you can use a mockup to study what that guy was doing, and again you can use it to make your representation, and I've said a mockup will of course show you what you expect. So at least when I'm going to print this, it will show me like this is what I expect. So and I think this is something good. So guys, that is what I had for you today, and I hope that this has been so helpful to you. And if this has been helpful to you, please consider subscribing, and not only subscribing, ring that bell so that you, my friend, do not miss any future tips, tricks, or tutorials. So that being said, I hope I will see you in my next video. Peace.